Hello friends, I've been in a couple of other videos before this one. I've been talking about The Residents a little bit, and I did a podcast about some of my favorite guitar players, and one of them was Snakefinger. Snakefinger worked with The Residents on some of their early albums, and then he had some solo albums, and actually saw Snakefinger play live in Atlanta. And really fun live performance, and had some members in his band that had been in the Captain Beefheart band, so really good musicians. And I've always liked Snakefinger. His music, his solo albums they don't sound like anybody else's records. That's one thing that I really appreciate. I'm amazed that someone can do that. They can take, that sort of rock format where you got a guitar, drums, and bass, and a guy singing, and songs that have verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. That format, that structure, that trope, I guess, a musical rock pop trope, and turn it into something completely different and do something unusual and unique. And yet it is still listenable. It is still very enjoyable and catchy and poppy and has hooks, and you're kind of bobbing your head along to it, that kind of thing. If someone can do that, I'm impressed. And I think Snakefinger did that. He did some solo albums. I'm going to show you a couple. He did I don't know which one of these is first, but he did. Let's pretend this one is the first one. This is called Snakefinger Greener Postures. The artwork is by the Residents, evidently by the Residents resident art director who did a lot of the Residents album covers. It's on Ralph Records, who released a ton of great stuff. Yeah, cover by Porno Graphics. There's the Residents art department, which I believe is one of the Residents. But this album has got so many great songs on it. Don't Lie, The Man in the Dark Sedan, I Come from an Island, Trashing All the Loves of History, Save Me from Dali. There's songs on here that are so catchy and so fun to listen to, and they're funny in some ways. And his guitar playing is unlike any other guitar player. For his solos, he used an octave multiplier, which takes the sound of the guitar and adds another version of it an octave higher or lower, or both. Higher on one side, lower, and I think he used the higher octave, and it was off just a little bit. So there's kind of this weird dissonant sound to a lot of his solos. But it's characteristic of him, and it sounds like him, and it works perfectly with his music. He did that on a bunch of songs. That was kind of his trademark in some ways. But in other ways, I think he just was a really fun, really interesting songwriter. The songs on here are really pretty great. I still go back to these Snakefinger albums. That's, I believe, the first one, and then I believe this one might be the second one, or this one might be the first one, and that one was the second one. But here you see the literal visual representation of his finger literally being a snake, Snakefinger. This album is called Chewing Hides the Sound, and this one has The Model, which is a cover of a Kraftwerk song. It's also got Kill the Great Raven, Jesus Was a Leprechaun, Here Comes the Bums, The Vivian Girls, which is interesting. There's an outsider artist called Henry Darger. If you haven't seen his artwork, look him up and look up his story. He was kind of a reclusive, one of those people, crazy people that has been described as, that folks later, after the poor guy passed away and somebody went into his apartment, they found out that he was this brilliant artist who had reams and reams of paper that he had painted and drawn. And he had stories, these strange, surrealistic, psychedelic almost stories about children and a revolution and evil entities coming to attack the children. And there's some characters called the Vivian Girls, and I'm pretty sure that Snakefinger knew about that artist, and that's what the Vivian Girls is inspired by. Who is the culprit and who is the victim? What Wilbur? Picnic in the Jungle? Friendly Warning? Just great songs. All the songs on here are really good. I think Snakefinger is underrated, perhaps, as a songwriter. And his association with the Residents was pretty great too. He added some really cool guitar parts and solos and things like that to Residents songs. But I really like his solo albums. And then there's I believe this is the third one that he did for Ralph Records, which is called Manual of Errors, with a great cover by artist Mark Beyer, who was a sort of an underground comic artist, and in those days really fascinating artist. I like his work, and I remember when this came out, I was like, wow, another combination of artists that I really like. Mark Beyer and Snakefinger. This one has some great songs on it too. Yeti, What Are You? And You Sliced Up My Wife. And every song on here is great. I just love these three Snakefinger albums. Check them out. See if you can find them. Track them down. Be the LP, the vinyl detective, and see if you can find these somewhere. Or I'm sure you can find songs from them on YouTube that you can listen to and see if you think I'm crazy for liking Snakefinger so much. There's some music videos actually of Snakefinger songs that you can find on the web. So you can find his music and tell me if I'm nuts for liking Snakefinger so much. But anyway, thanks for listening. That's my review, sort of my rave review of three Snakefinger albums from those days. And thanks so much for listening. And I will talk to you again real soon.